August will by no means be a quiet month for game releases, so let's just dive straight in with some of the biggest games of the month and the ones I think you need to add to your collection. So the first game on my list is Mafia: The Old Country. I've not really had much personal experience with the franchise if I'm being honest, but I am a big fan of the setting for this series. I will say my only real experience with the franchise was I used to have Mafia 2, I picked it up and essentially had a game-breaking bug that when I used to travel to a certain mission objective, my car would just fall through the floor every time and, well, fall through the road I should say, and I just couldn't proceed. No matter what I did, reset, everything. I even restarted the game, I think. Luckily it was very early on. So yeah, not much of an experience with this franchise, but a prequel to the series might just be the push I need to finally invest in these games. Mafia: The Old Country brings the series back to a more linear story-driven experience as opposed to the open world style that we saw in Mafia 3. So yeah, the game looks great in my opinion. The game is set in the early 1900s in Sicily and focuses on the rise of the Sicilian Mafia as you play as new protagonist Enzo Favara. The game is set for release on PC, PS5 and Xbox Series X on the 8th of August, so an early one. If you're interested, I highly recommend looking into it and seeing if it's the game for you, as I believe it could be one of the best games of next month. Next up is a bit of a spin-off featuring a returning main character from a beloved zombie series, and that is Dying Light: The Beast. The Beast brings back protagonist Kyle Crane for a whole new experience in Tegland's zombie universe. The series is known for its fantastic parkour and great atmosphere, and this entry was actually originally set to be a paid DLC for Dying Light 2, funnily enough, before I believe leaks forced the team to make a pivot, and let's just say we've got the game now. So it is set to be a much shorter open world experience than previous entries, which is ideal, honestly. I'm very excited for that, especially when we've been surrounded by near 100-hour game experiences all year. Along with the usual game mechanics from the series, the Beast introduces something called Beast Mode, which, and I quote, allows Kyle to launch powerful bare-handed attacks and hurl environment objects at enemies. So yeah, if you're interested in that, again, another game that I think could be top tier in the coming month. Dying Light: The Beast is set to launch for PC, PS5 and Xbox Series X on the 22nd of August. Now, this final game is not a surprise to many, but I need to discuss it, I want to discuss it, and it's going to be one of the biggest releases of the year. From the mind of one of gaming's biggest and best, Hideo Kojima, despite his obvious lack of involvement in this remake, we finally get to see one of the greatest stealth games of all time get a fresh coat of paint, and, well, I mean, this is just one of the best video games in general. There's not really much more to say. Metal Gear Solid Delta, Snake Eater, is coming out next month. The game is, of course, a remake of Metal Gear Solid 3 and hopes to revitalize a franchise that has been really neglected by Konami since the split from Kojima. They're taking the Resident Evil remake route with this one in the hopes it shines a spotlight on the franchise once again, and I really hope it shines brightly. I'm especially excited to jump back into the shoes of Naked Snake in this refined version of a gaming classic. The game retains most of the core mechanics of the original, with visual improvements here and there, and some slight changes to modernise the game. There is also an option to switch between new controls and camera to the old gameplay systems if you're feeling nostalgic. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater releases right at the tail end of the month on the 28th of August for PC, PS5 and Xbox Series X. So what are you most excited to play this August? Any games I haven't mentioned that you'd love to pick up yourself? I know for a fact that I am most excited for Metal Gear Solid Delta, of course. There's no surprise there. I'm also really enjoying Death Stranding 2 right now, so if you haven't picked that up yet, I do highly recommend it. It is my game of the year so far. So let me know what you think down in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe while you're down there. It always helps and I always appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.